Yeah, and I mean a 4-game win streak. I think I read something that was like the last time the Oilers won 4 in a row was the Western Conference Finals last year. So
Wow.
you know what? It's better to end the season hot than it is to start hot, I think.
Against Morgan Riley. McDavid, what a move! What a play! What a goal! Hemsky works it in across the line, cutting in on goal, he scores! He just ate up Robin Revere for dinner. Smith, 3 clubbing right hands! Right hand Talbot, big right-handed shot from Mike Smith! McDavid scores! Game winner! Series winner!
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Oil Rig Podcast, The Torp. As usual, I'm your host, Faiz, and I'm here with my co-host, Greg.
Hello.
And we're here to talk about the Oilers. And I think for once, it's not all doom and gloom at the moment.
I know. I can't help but feel vindicated for my takes around the trade deadline, around our last episode of really feeling like, wow, there's some good things on the horizon here. Even though there's been some scathing comments about the coach, perhaps, from the captain, it appears like the ship is moving in the right direction. We talked about Paul Coffey and how things have looked different since he's joined. Like we talked about Savoy, obviously, who's stepped up with Draisaitl out. So
yeah,
and we've talked about the team defense, which is clearly rounding into form as well with Jason Dickinson. So a lot of things trending in the right direction for sure.
Yeah, and I mean a 4-game win streak. I think I read something that was like the last time the Oilers won 4 in a row was the Western Conference Finals last year.
Wow.
You know what? It's better to end the season hot than it is to start hot, I think.
100%. 100%. The Oilers are always starting slow too. So
yeah, they didn't start so slow. They'd easily be in first in the division. I mean, they still have a chance. I don't know how realistic it is, but would be nuts if they did.
Or how much it matters really, because we're still unsure of what the first round matchup is going to be. It could be multiple teams either way, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the standings right now, and I think the top 3 in the Pacific is pretty set at this point. I mean, LA's got 76, so LA is 6 points behind Vegas. They do have 2 games in hand, mind you. San Jose is 7 points behind with 3 games in hand. So, I mean,
right.
I guess.
Would you rather play Vegas in the first round or, potentially the wild card?
I think I'd rather play Mammoth than Vegas, to be honest, especially with the coaching change. Like,
you never know. Yeah.
I think in general that's to get the bump, but yeah.
I wrote a Vegas series preview article last week. So it was definitely just looking into their team. It was right before Cassidy got fired. So
yeah,
it was pre-Tortorella, but they're still controlling play at a great rate. Like people are kind of disappointed in some of their stars' performances. Like people bring up Eichel with how 0 power play goals, but their power play's still been really good.
Yeah,
they have 5 quality players, 5 quality options on that top unit. It's like if they could get a save, and their defensive structure has been good. So if they could get a save, and they're definitely a dangerous team.
Yeah, I mean, granted, Utah is also don't get me wrong, but I think Vegas, just with the experience and with some of the top end talent, Utah doesn't necessarily have top end talent like Vegas does. I think,
right?
They're a good team. They're a deep team, and they have the goaltending that Vegas doesn't have, like you said. But but then there's also just having home ice for the next round as well, assuming you do win, right?
Right. Yeah, for sure. I definitely think, but the bigger point that I'm trying to make probably is that the Oilers belong in the conversation with Colorado and Dallas and Minnesota as a legitimate threat to win the Western Conference. I think it's disingenuous to try to say it's not the case. Obviously they have yet to win the Pacific Division, and the regular seasons are often underwhelming. But there's so much to like about this team right now. There's some young players coming in. It's hard, and they've done it, obviously, the last two seasons, winning the Western Conference. I mean, they're more proven than these other teams to an extent. You could say Colorado and Vegas have a cup win under their belt. But
yeah.
I
I
mean, the
mean,
Oilers, they have everything you would want heading into the playoffs.
well, exactly. And I think, yeah, like that's where a team like Anaheim or Minnesota definitely has that issue of not having been there, but at the same time, like they're good teams. An interesting thing is since January 1, the Oilers have just one less win than Colorado.
Right.
And they have
Colorado.
because Colorado's 19 and 12, we're 18 and 13.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you might be right, and the Oilers are turning it around, obviously, which is what you need to be coming hot. Whereas Colorado's kind of limping in right now.
Right. It's not as
I guess
breezy as their first half. Yeah.
6-3-1, I guess, is not bad for your last 10. Dallas is at 3-5-2, but
Oh, but they're showing signs of their mortality for
yeah,
sure.
but
For sure. So yeah, I think that for Oilers fans, it's like time to be feeling good for sure. The team is a given reason for that.
I think so. And I mean, I think I also got to say, like, I think Connor Ingram has been like a revelation in terms of, I mean, his stats are decent enough, but just watching him play, I think he's so calm in the net, I find,
Mm.
right? Like, so like, last night's game with the shutout and stuff. I don't know if you saw his comment, but he was asked about it and he was like, did I really do anything? Like the team made it so easy on me to make those saves. And it's like, that's a good thing to hear, obviously, that there's that support, but yeah, he's killing it in my opinion, and I think
It's-
that's a huge boost for the team.
yeah, and it's been a very obviously tumultuous um era of goaltending. Like even going back as far as Mike Smith is like even when the goaltending has actually been pretty good, it's
Mhm.
still been tempered with unease, you know? There's a certain a feeling of impending doom or chaos at
Yeah,
least. Yeah, I mean obviously we've been on different sides of our Stuart Skinner opinions
yeah,
and stuff. Yeah, it's true that it is really nice to have just a calming force in there. Because even a few weeks ago, people are talking about Jerry, and it's like the Rome is in flames
yeah.
again. You know, break out the fiddles. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like thank God Ingram is there, and I thank God the team had made the decision. Like Knobloch just straight up said he's the starter for now, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that's important to that settles that goaltending, the controversy that could be arising, right? Like of, oh, your higher paid goalie is not
Right.
playing and blah blah blah. Now it's like, well, you know what? We've gone past that story. He's the backup. It is what it is. Let's move forward. So I do think, for all the criticism Knobloch takes, that was probably a really good decision because you haven't heard too much about, like, the controversy anyway of goaltending
Right.
since then. So
Wins always ease the
yeah.
pain.
Yeah.
Wins always make everyone a bit happier. Yeah. No, but it's you could say it's a chicken or egg as the team, as Ingram's kind of discovered his form, the team's kind of discovered their defensive form, and they're growing in tandem. So that's a good sign for sure. For now, we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. But I mean, that I don't know. At the end of the day, so much has gone right for this team the
Yeah.
past several years that we're really kind of splitting hairs. Like, could you get it done with Skinner? It's like, well, you almost did twice. I mean,
Yeah.
it's as much proof of concept as you're going to get without actually doing it. And will this team like shake off their slow starts, or
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen Draisaitl in the past like put up like incredible performances while being injured,
Yeah.
hobbled at times, so it's really they've answered so many questions over the years. It's like obviously they have to do it again, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm feeling so confident. I'm putting it Bouchard at the top of my Norris ballot.
Oh, wow. The
I'm
fact that
putting.
I can't get over the idiocy when it comes to just trying to denigrate Evan Bouchard for his play this season. Like, I can understand if you want to say Werenski is more deserving of the Norris to a certain extent. Like, totally, I get it. He's up there with him in terms of point production and everything, and he's the leading scorer in his team. So I get all that. That's fine. But it's like the argument that he's not. There's people who are like, I think it was Mike Rupp or something was like, oh, he's not even in my top 3. He's maybe in my top 5. And it's like, the guy's the leading point scorer amongst all defensemen by 8 points right now. Like
Right.
he's playing like crazy. He's playing crazy. Like, you take out, like, what did I have in the Oil Check article that I wrote? Since January 1. So since the turn of the new year. Obviously this isn't including last game though, but he's had 49 points in 33 games. That's the 3rd highest behind McDavid and Kucherov. So, even if you want to say defense is also a part of being defenseman, he's been good defensively. That's not even, I'm not even going to entertain the conversation that he is atrocious defensively. But then you put up those kinds of numbers and it's like, you can't say he's not the best at his position in that sense, right? But
yeah, he's playing a role on the penalty kill. He's playing top minutes against top competition. I think that like part of it is that I'm thinking about other defensemen who have won the Norris mostly because of their offensive production.
Yeah.
Erik Karlsson on the Sharks comes to mind, where the team wasn't even good. I mean, one of the things you could say about Karlsson is that he led his team in points.
Yes.
Even years ago, I wrote when Bouchard started putting up these points, can he win the Norris? It might be that McDavid and Draisaitl are there, so he's not leading this team in points the way that Karlsson was. Somehow it's not as impressive. So it's just like a lot of just reputation and perception and things like that. But
it's also like, at the end of the day, okay, yeah, so Werenski is leading his team in scoring by 15. So yeah, fair enough in that sense. But I mean, here's the thing. His team is, Columbus, for instance, is +8. Edmonton is +10. Bouchard's plus, and I know people don't like plus minus, and I'm not a huge fan of it either, but, just one of the things to add to the criteria. Evan Bouchard's a +22. Zach Werenski's a +12. So, even strength points, Bouchard's at 54, Werenski's at 57. So, at even strength, they're playing pretty evenly kind of rules, right? So that's where I think, again, a lot of that gets brought up, and it's like, well, if Werenski is in fact that much more important, like,
right. I mean, I think
he's not even the highest on his team in plus minus. And again, I know plus minus is a bullshit, but like, I don't know. If people are going to just completely ignore, the advanced defensive stats,
right? There's no like necessarily right way to measure it.
No.
I think like for my person, Werenski has a bit more like of a role on the penalty kill, but Bouchard still has one.
Yeah.
So it's not that I'm trying to disparage either candidate.
No,
I think
and I'm not either.
that's the conversation that we're in. So I think that like if you want to make a case for someone else, I'm not necessarily going to say that you're definitely wrong, but to say he's not even in consideration for the top 3 or top 5 is just, it's incorrect. That's just...
No, and that's exactly it. I just that's where the issue is. I think Bouchard at worst should finish second to
There's been some impressive seasons. Quinn Hughes is up there for sure, but I definitely, but part of it, I think that has to be acknowledged of a couple things. One is that there's clearly people who don't like Bouchard's game ever since he was a prospect in the draft. That he's big and it just looks a bit lackadaisical. So it just rubs people the wrong way. And some people just aren't going to like him.
Yeah.
That's part of it. The second part of it is, oh my goodness, don't do this, Greg. Don't forget. The second part of it is it takes years to sometimes build these like reputation candidacies for things. So there is some maybe it's unfair. It's probably fair or unfair. It's like Bouchard has to work a bit to like change this perception about him. So it might take a few years. Granted, he's been to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals and played really well throughout, minus, of course, a few giveaways, but we've been seeing like the highlight reels of Makar's giveaways in response.
Exactly.
So
sorry, I'm looking at more stats again right now. Just because you brought up stuff, and it's like Evan Bouchard, power play goals against per 60, 735, which is best on the Oilers. Shorthand time on ice is just shy of 139 over the entire season. Zach Werenski is 7.99 power play goals against per 60 and 90 shorthanded minutes this season. So again, it's not, it go back to, I don't think Werenski blows him out of the water by any means. I mean, our stats on the power of the Pelican are actually really good too. They're better than both of them, but
yeah.
But I do think he deserves the Norris. He's leading the scoring. I think he's been arguably the Oilers' best player for the majority of the season. Like, obviously, there's Connor McDavid doing Connor McDavid things, but
it's not even a story that he's he's just expected to lead the league in points, and anything else is...
He's got 125 points. Kucherov's right behind him, and everything more recently has been about Kucherov because that crazy streak that Kucherov went on, which is like totally.
I mean,
Kucherov got injured or sick the last little while too.
Yeah, I mean, there's some just great individual performances by the Oilers, we should say, which is. And just when it comes down to it, just like over the years of what this team has done, obviously minus winning the Stanley Cup, it's like to have high end players, is one thing. To have the elite talents, which is tough enough to get, but to have those talents like really like lead the team in such a strong way and elevate in the huge moments, like as McDavid and Draisaitl and Bouchard all have throughout their careers, is like it's such a rare thing, and that's obviously one of the main reasons that the biggest reason that this team is as good as it is. Not the only reason, because it wasn't enough always. But with a confident team around them, with like a pretty good blue line, with a team that's like controlling play and limiting chances against, it's the team that has like a good penalty kill. They just become so hard, they don't beat themselves, and then you're trapped in the ring with McDavid and Draisaitl and Bouchard, and it's tough. So obviously anything can happen in the playoffs. So but I'm feeling so good about the Oilers.
And I mean, we're down the stretch here. We've got 7 games left, I think it is. 7 games left. And I mean, you look at the schedule, we've got Chicago coming up. That Vegas game is going to be huge, just for ice. Like, I think we win that. I have to think if you win that and you have that 5-point like lead over Vegas, basically with six games to go, I think you've almost guaranteed yourself home ice. So I think that game's huge. And then, I mean, the San Jose and Kings games are probably less important at this point now than I thought they were going to be just a couple weeks ago.
The pillow fight division continues.
What a great quote. That was such
I know. I mean, in all seriousness, like the Ducks are definitely an interesting team. And like a young, fun team that is probably going to be a bigger issue in the years ahead. And the Knights they can swing with the best of them, I think. So as much as like the regular season performances have not been anything to write home about, like in our Norris discussion, I was about to say, well, how much better of a team are the Oilers than the Blue Jackets? And lo and behold, the Blue Jackets have more points.
That's actually crazy.
So but I think that especially the Oilers and Knights are better, their record shows, which is maybe a controversial thing to say, but
I mean, it's something for sure. I mean, the interesting thing is this whole, I think this year especially, you're getting a lot of the conversation about the 3-2-1 changing to a 3-2-1 system. Because, like, for instance, like the Oilers are they have the 9th most regulation overtime wins in the league.
Right.
And by points wise, they're 17th.
Right.
So there is that question, like even in, in the pillow fight division, like Anaheim's won 41 games this year, but only 33 have been regulation or overtime. So they have 8 shootout wins.
Right.
And so, I mean, I'm not necessarily opposed, I mean, a win's a win is a win. That's fine. But I definitely think, so I'm not necessarily a huge proponent of changing it. Everyone's playing by the same rules. So it's whatever. But I think you look forward to how the playoffs goes. And well, there's no shootout in the playoffs.
Right.
Like, yes, there's no 3-on-3 overtime as well, for sure. But it's, I think that does make a difference in terms of playing.
Right.
When it
I
comes
think
down.
it like going to 3-2-1 is probably a reasonable thing to do.
Mhm.
I don't hate it, but by the same consequence, you could go to like an NBA model and just go wins loss.
Yeah.
If you really, I mean, there's probably lots of ways to fix it, lots of ways that could work. I mean, yeah, it's more of an off-season consideration for
Well, of
me.
course, yeah.
You want to be removed from it's tough. Like obviously, you feel for the fans, but if
Mhm.
it's your team that's like getting inconvenienced by it, it's like, oh, you have this big problem with it. And of course, next year when it's the other way around, you probably won't say
Like,
anything
oh,
about
no.
it.
Yeah.
So so yeah, it's good to be consistent on these things and not just like when it happens to you.
Yeah.
if you re-
No,
if you
exactly.
if you're really interested in change, like that's the better time, the more productive time to bring it up is when it's not at your expense.
Yeah. Oh, totally. For sure. Yeah. Like, I
No.
mean, if you're a Mammoth fan, you're maybe a little more about this with the,
Humphrey should have. Yeah.
you know what? If you're the Mammoth, here's the thing. If you're the Mammoth, you're happy about your place in the standings. You don't want to be 2 or 3 in the Central. You want to be in the first wild card spot and playing
Oh yeah.
the
You
winner
don't want
of,
to catch up.
like,
The Stars in the first round. Yeah.
right? Because
That would
like
be
if you're
tough.
Utah, you're playing Anaheim. Maybe you have I think everyone can agree you have a better shot against Anaheim than you do against Dallas and probably against Minnesota.
We'll see. I mean, the playoffs are a beautiful time of year.
Yeah, they are.
There's always something a little strange happening.
Of course, yeah.
There's always something a little strange.
I mean, I guess at this point, in the West, it really is just that last wild card spot that's up for grabs, basically.
Right. So yeah, the Predators and the Kings and the Jets and the Sharks and the Kraken all just kind of going for that one spot.
Yeah, exactly.
All within 2 points. And half of those teams we thought were dead in the water.
Well, yeah. Well, I think Winnipeg is the biggest one. I think everyone thought Winnipeg was done for, and they've just turned it on.
Yeah. Well, they were so good last regular season. And
Yeah.
this year, it seemed like for so long the standings were kind of locked. And it was really hard for these young teams to kind of make a move. And it seems like all of them kind of started happening at once. Like, obviously Montreal made the playoffs last year, but Anaheim's turned it around this year. And then at the same time, but there's been some veteran teams that are like completely fallen apart this year. The Panthers and the Leafs near the bottom. The Jets at the start of the year were like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been I feel maybe a really unexpected regular season in some ways.
Well, I mean, Toronto, Florida, New York being the last 3 teams in the East. And New Jersey, having your last 4 teams be New Jersey, Maple Leafs, Florida, and the Rangers. I think if you told people at the beginning of the season there would be these 4 teams in some kind of order at one end of the standings, everyone been like, oh, those are the top 4 teams.
Yeah, they're at the bottom. I mean, the Devils always find a way to fall apart, seemingly. Anyways.
It's been a weird year in the NHL, I think, is the best, like you said, it's just the best way to describe it. Like, imagine if you had put like even $1 on Buffalo winning the East before the season started. I don't know what the odds would have been on that, but I'm sure you would have made at least a few $100s.
Life comes at you fast. And that's a good reminder as we head into the playoff season is all it takes is a bad week and a bad
week,
bounce.
really good week. Yeah.
A bad bounce and a lot can go wrong. I'm remembering now at the start of every playoffs, it seems the Oilers like get blown out the first 2 games. half the team is traded on by the end of game 2.
Oh, sorry. By the end of game 2, by the end of like halfway through the first, as soon as the first goal is scored against the Oilers, every single person on the team needs to be traded.
Yeah. But that's the glory of playoffs, the thin margins between victory and defeat. How about, do you want to leave it there, Faiz?
Well, thanks everyone for listening again to another episode of the Torp. We will see you for our playoff preview episode, and then hopefully we'll have many episodes, playoff episodes in the future. I'm knocking on wood just in case no one could see or hear that. Join us next time anyway, and remember to check us out wherever you get your podcast, and to check out our articles on the oil rig.
All right, thank you.